Alright, I'm ready. Oh, that's kind of loud. This game should be loud. Okay. So... oh baby, I get to talk about Shock Troopers again. Anytime there's a marathon of these sorts, I always have to find a way to slip in Shock Troopers. Let me know how the audio is. The audio still seems maybe a little bit loud, but I think the music is very important to this game. So let's get right into it. Move characters by operating the 8-way lever. Keeping the button depressed. Yes, you can lock your direction by making the A button depressed. Yeah, no lack of sleep is going to keep me from talking about Shock Troopers. Yeah, we're only doing the first Shock Troopers for this marathon. So when I signed up for this, I kind of said this was going to be like a score run, because I do kind of have the score world record on this game, but I don't think I'm gonna go all in on points. I'm gonna extend the game as much as I can within reason, but I think I'll at least let Milky survive at the end, which is one of the things I have to do for points. So yeah, this is Shock Troopers, an overhead run and gun released by Saurus at the end of 1997. A game that was took a long time to get ported to to home consoles. Like, it would be many years before it showed up on like the Wii Virtual Console. Later got PS3 and Vita ports. I'll talk about the ports later, but yeah, as the attract mode said, or the how to play screen said, this game has a roll button. When you roll, you're completely invincible, much like NAM 1975. Although there is a brief period coming out of it where you're vulnerable, and rolling actually moves you along the ground faster than walking normally. So in a speedrun, you actually want to keep rolling all the time, which is kind of funny. Turn into Sonic the Hedgehog. And as you can see, when you attack an enemy at close range, they drop an item. Usually it's a blue 30,000 point gem. They also drop life ups there, and sometimes they'll drop secondary weapons like the what a jerk, heavy machine gun or a Vulcan gun. Sometimes they'll drop a red gem, which you'll probably hear me cuss at least once when a red gem shows up, because red gems kill all enemies on the screen, which is great if you're playing for survival, great if you're doing a speedrun, but bad for score because it destroys every enemy without giving you any items. And I'm kind of going for score here, but not entirely. And going for score means killing pretty much everybody with close range attacks if you can. It also means a lot of just waiting around at certain points to make more enemies appear on screen like that. Some people aren't really a fan of me stalling like this to get more enemies. They want to just see the game keep going. But hey, look at the bright side. You get to hear some rockin' tunes. The current streamer is Murphigator. Yep, that's me. Oh yeah, and the C button is your special weapon, sometimes called the bomb, which I used a few of them there. Every character in this game has their own their own unique weapon, but I am going to switch characters because I'm playing team mode, which lets you switch characters on the fly. I kind of screwed that up. And now Milky is low on health, so I'm going to be killing enemies with close range attacks, trying to get some life ups to appear. And of course now they're dropping nothing but gems. Wow! Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna lose somebody right away. I refuse. There we go. And them bananas. Also, you're completely invincible when you switch characters like that. That's what I didn't mention at the very beginning. You have the choice of playing Lonely Wolf or Team Mode. Oh my god. I'm taking way too many hits. Lonely Wolf is a standard, like, 3 lives. But Team Mode lets you make a team of 3 out of the 8 characters. And you can switch between characters on the fly. If you're actually playing this game either for score or for 1cc purposes, I highly, highly recommend using Team Mode. Because letting you make a balanced team of characters is really important because, you know, every character have their own characteristics, their own stats. Like Milky here is really fast but takes damage a lot more than other characters. And then some characters are, like Big Mama, have higher defense but they're slower. And Big Mama actually has a double shotgun. By default, she actually fires 2 shots instead of 1, so obviously that does more damage. So ideally, when playing this game, you want at least one fast character if you're concerned about speed. But you definitely want a character with a double shotgun for bosses, as you'll soon see. Yeah, most people when they're new to this game, they're just gonna pick Lonely Wolf. They don't really understand team mode. They're gonna think it's like KOF. Like, I don't want to learn 3 characters, I guess. But it's not like you have to learn characters. It's just it's an overhead running gun. There's not much to really learn. I'm running out of time. I'm gonna have to speed it up here. As long as I have like 6 seconds going into the boss, I should be fine. Switch over to Mary so she can get the meat. Here's the first boss. Luckily, the game does not kill you when the timer hits 0-0. It gives you a couple seconds. Each second in this game is basically like 5 real seconds. Flex on him, mama. And yeah, we got between stage lore. Only one of the cutscenes has any voice acting though. This game kind of has a similar plot to NAM 1975. Instead of kidnapping a guy to build a laser weapon, they kidnap Cecilia's grandfather to develop the Alpha 301, which is a drug that can make soldiers invincible? Somehow? I don't know. Oh yeah, so at the beginning of this game, you had a choice between 3 routes. Jungle, Valley, and Mountain. I picked the jungle route, and you actually have the option to switch routes after stage 3, which I'll actually be doing. I'll be switching to the Valley route. I don't know why they give you the option to switch routes in the middle, but if you had remorse over picking the wrong route and want to switch, that's That's kind of weird, but that does mean that there's 3 separate sets of stages. So if you want to see everything in this game, you got to play through it a minimum 3 times. So there's definitely some replay value here. Even if you're not playing for score, maybe you want to try the different routes to see which ones are easier. I mean, I'm kind of biased, but I think this game is not too hard to learn for a 1cc. If you're just playing it casually. And because there's different routes, everybody can kind of come up with their own preferred route. The drug has crushed up yellow gems. That's true. It does make you invincible. Alright, time for the hottest jam in the game. Oops. Just enjoy this for a second. So this stage has a weird quirk. Normally, okay, so you have the option, or operators have the option to turn blood on or blood off. You know, to censor the game if you put it in a Chuck E. Cheese or something. And with blood off, you can actually you can always shoot an enemy 13 times before they drop. When blood's turned on, if you shoot an enemy, there's a random chance for the enemy to just drop and go into like a bloody animation where like you tear their arm off or they just explode into blood. But not so in these water stages. In the water stages, you can actually shoot them multiple times like that. So if you're playing for score, what you have to do is start shooting the enemy. You can shoot them like up to 12 times, move towards them, and then get the close range attack. Because then you're getting points every time you shoot the enemy. Like those white soldiers are worth 3,000 points each. So you can get like 36,000 points from shooting them. And then the close range attack is actually worth 6,000. And then you have a chance at a 32,000 point gem. So you can get 72,000 points from one soldier, if you're lucky. Or if you don't want to go for the point item, you can just shoot them and get a free 36,000 unless you screw it up like I just did. Commentator's curse. Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. And the rest of you guys. Like that. You just get a free 39,000. Which is actually beneficial sometimes because there's a limit to how many enemies can be on the screen at any given time if you're trying to stall. So sometimes you just have to shoot them to get enemies to disappear. No, there's no extends. The 3 lives you get are all you have for the entire game. And if a character dies, they're dead. They're not coming back. Until you continue. I got one guy stuck on the box. Good damn red gem! That's what I'm talking about. The red gem kills everybody on screen. So sometimes, you know, I'll just get a close range kill and just instinctively just walk over the corpse. And, you know, you don't have much warning before the red gem shows up. Of course, I want to minimize the number of times red gems show up, although I can tell you right now, this isn't going to be a super good score run. I want to keep this marathon safe. But I will do some attempts to do some stalling here and there. Okay, I don't want to replace the Vulcan with the Heavy because the Vulcan's actually more powerful. Most of the weapons in this game are worth picking up, except for, there's a flamethrower. And I will not pick up the flamethrower because, here's the thing about flamethrowers in video games. They tend to be either really good or really bad. In this game, it's the worst weapon by far. You can't get multiple shot kills on enemies. Whoops. And it's super slow in doing damage. There is pretty much the only reason to ever use the flamethrower is on enemies that take like 2 hits. So you can kill them with 1 hit instead. That's it. Flamethrower sucks. Okay, I should have enough time. If not, I'll use my bombs. Oh man, the torch in Ghosts and Goblins is a whole new level of bad. Because you can't ditch it when you die. At least you can actually quickly pick up a new weapon in this game. I was down to 0 seconds again. Oh man, we're gonna get some voice acting. Also, this stage, or this cutscene, does have a additional scene if you're using Jackal, if he's in your party, but despite being the main character, Jackal's the worst character in the game by far. Cecilia! Because Jackal's bomb is this grenade that does piddly damage. Cozy, 50% off. So this game has a weird subsystem where characters are like intended to be used for certain routes, and they actually get speed boosts on certain stages if they're used on that route. Like Mama moves faster on this stage. Like if you look here, Mama's kind of moving at the same speed as Milky and Mary, despite Mama having a much lower base speed. They actually show you the bonuses on the other version of this game. That's another thing I haven't mentioned yet. There's actually 2 versions of this game, which is really confusing. I call them version A and version B. I'm playing version B right now because version A feels like an earlier version of the game. It tended to be on cartridges that had a lower serial number. But basically, version A, you only have 1 life. Even in team mode, all 3 characters will share the same life bar. And if you play Lonely Wolf, you only have that 1 life. But you take half damage from everything, so your life bar is twice as large. Ah, that stupid red gem! I can't get it. I can't get that blue gem. Come on. There we go. No, blue gem. Thank you. And for whatever reason, for the longest time in MAME, the version A was actually like the default ROM set because that's the first version of the game that was dumped. So everybody just thought it was like the main parent ROM set, even though version B is way more common. Anytime I've seen this game in an arcade, it was version B. Also, kitty cat. Shit. I'm dropping lots of close range kills here. Anyway, there's a special mid-boss fight here against these 2 Wolverine wannabes. But the fun strat you can do if you're Big Mama, you can just take them to Duff City. And they drop a first aid kit when you kill them with a close range attack. Any human boss in this game when you kill them with a close range attack, they actually drop a first aid kit. So let me give that to Milky. Also, that stage has that special mid-boss fight. That's the only time that music shows up in the game. Unfortunately, you don't get to hear much of it. That track actually goes on for like 2 or 3 minutes. And yes, this is LordBBH. There we go. Grouping enemies together, like, it feels really satisfying when you get like multiple enemies with one close range attack. You just kind of have to watch the. Wow, the game is throwing so many red gems at me. You have to watch like when they fire, because once they fire a bullet, they can't fire again for a while. So it's really easy to just kind of manipulate the enemies. I don't know why I did that. Whoa, slow down. Where's the, there we go. That one guy who was pissed off, he randomly, has an afro when he takes his helmet off, but it didn't happen there. Oh, there's the flamethrower. Not picking it up. Not even once. I refuse. There's actually a hidden weapon there, but... yeah, what the hell, I'll pick it up. The hyper gun. Hyper gun is super powerful. But it does blow up enemies. And I kind of don't want to do that. I'll see if I can hold on to it for the boss. Although there's a heavy machine gun in the way. Where's that clump of enemies? Where's that big clump of enemies? There they are. Like I was saying. Okay, I need to destroy this tank. It has a bomb drop. And now the hyper gun is just gonna wreck this thing. Actually, that still wasn't enough. It's close, though. So this boss fight actually has 2 phases. You have to fight a human boss, too. And since he's a human boss, I have to try to kill him with a close range attack, because he will drop a first aid kit. And like all enemies, he actually has he actually gives double points if you kill him with a close range attack. In this case, instead of getting 300,000 points, you get 600,000, which is a pretty nice bonus. Is that bullet dodging? One thing I definitely appreciate about this game is that you don't take damage when you run into enemies. You can only take damage from legit attacks. Okay. I'm not concerned about taking damage here, because like I said, he's going to drop a first aid kit. Whoa, a bomb drop. That's super rare to get from enemies. Alright, I'm just going to kill him now. Because all the other enemies drop items when they're killed. Alright, everybody's topped off. That's why I like version B better. It's actually kind of fun having like separate life bars. Also because that's the version I was used to. So like I said, you can switch routes after stage 3. I'll be switching to Valley route. This is the preferred score route. And so when you switch routes, you always end up playing this train stage. This is always the same. It's not a very long stage. You can't leech at all. It's nothing but green soldiers and jetpack guys who haven't shown up yet. Yeah, the jelly-filled donut. Nice. Source Queens. So here's going to be the first encounter with the most annoying enemies in the game. The enemies I just kind of lovingly call red jetpack assholes. They take a lot of hits, and then they just fire a bullet wherever they are on screen, but you can't really predict where they're going to be. I should be Mama for this section, shouldn't I? Okay, that was a good roll. I should raise the volume a little bit. The volume's good. And it's another human boss, so free first aid kit if you punch him to death. Which I'll immediately give to Milky. If you pick the same route, you skip the train stage and you actually get like a line of dialogue that's different for each character. There's actually 2 lines of dialogue that it randomly picks from. There's a good one from Mama where she says like, "Doing alright, kids? Mama's bringing presents." Which I always retweet that image around Christmas. It's a good reminder to do that. Alright, just wait right here. Shit. So I guess I should talk a little bit about my history with this game. My long 20-year history. So I did play this game when it was new. I first encountered this game at an arcade in San Antonio, Texas. They had a 6-slot Neo Geo there. The ironic thing is that like at the time I was like actually hoping to play Metal Slug 2 because that was coming out soonish. This game wasn't even on my radar. Like I'd heard of it, but I hadn't actually like seen much of it. Nobody really talked about it. But you know, it was an overhead run and gun, and you know, when I saw this, it immediately brought up memories of games like Heavy Barrel, Time Soldiers. It was a genre that you didn't really see much of by the year 1997. I'm like, oh, that's a cool throwback. And so I credit fed through the game the first time I saw it. Like I used like 3 or 4 continues, I want to say. Obviously, I wasn't going to 1cc it on the first try, but I remember being really impressed with the game. Like I immediately enjoyed the rolling mechanic. I enjoyed the close range attacks. I saw how much potential there was for score by going for close range attacks, and I just remember thinking, yeah, if you could go for close range attacks on everybody, that would look really cool. But of course, that would take a lot of practice. I didn't think much else about the game. I just kind of played through it, and I was like, yeah, I will definitely play through this again the next time I'm at this arcade. And of course, the next time I went, I actually remembered to bring my old Game Boy earphones, because if you've never seen like one of the old Neo Geo multi-slot cabinets, they actually have headphone slots underneath, next to the memory card slot. And I always thought that was funny. You could just use headphones on an arcade cabinet. So I would do that sometimes. And so I brought my earphones to play this because I'd never actually I couldn't really hear the music the first time I played this game. And when I played the game with earphones, oh my god, it was like night and day. It was completely different. I was just so taken aback by this game's jungle and drum and bass soundtrack. It was so impressive to me at the time, because you wouldn't really expect the Neo Geo to be capable of this. Or it's just not like a type of soundtrack you heard much in games at the time. And that just kind of... I became, like, minorly obsessed with the soundtrack. Like, I pretty much just wanted to play this game to listen to the music. You have to remember, it wasn't emulated yet. There was no soundtrack online. There was no way to listen to this. I actually had to go to the arcade to listen to the music. And so I just started playing the game more and more. And it didn't take much time before I could actually finish the game on 1 credit. But that wasn't enough. No, sir. Now that I could finish the game on 1 credit, of course, I wanted to get as many points as possible. Nobody else was really competing with me at that arcade. I was pretty much taking over all the other high scores. Actually, it's kind of funny. The first time I played through this, when I credit fed it, I remember getting like 10.7 million. I remember that because first place on the machine was 10.9 million. This game doesn't reset your score and continue. It does add the digits of shame on the last 2 digits if you use continues, of course, so you can see how many times somebody continued. But I remember being annoyed that I didn't get first place, but that kind of put me on the quest to like get as high a score as possible. Like when I was first finishing the game on 1 credit, I was getting like 15 million, I want to say. And then I kind of started... I remember I figured out early on that Jungle Valley was like the best route for score. And I was getting like 16 million, 17 million, 18, like I was... Every time I played the game, I could feel I was getting a little better at it. My scores were getting a little bit higher. I was feeling a lot of satisfaction because I was always doing a little bit better. Of course, the thing was, I didn't have anybody to discuss this game with. Nobody was playing it at the arcade. I couldn't find anybody like discussing this game online. Even on the Neo Geo mailing list, like nobody was actually talking about this game. There was a dedicated mailing list for the Neo Geo that I was on because this was like before forums. After news groups, but before forums. If you don't remember what news groups are, then you're not as old as me, I guess. But every time I played the game, I was always doing a little bit better. Eventually, I was getting up to like 20 million, 21 million. You know, eventually the game became emulated, although it didn't have sound at first. Like Neo Geo emulators didn't have sound until the MAME team got it working in like early 1999, I want to say. But I was still grinding this game out. Like nobody else cared. Nobody else, other than some guys in Japan, were trying to play this game for score. I would just kind of post my score findings online, and nobody would read it. And of course, then I started learning all the spots to stall. And eventually I kind of topped out at like 29.5 million. And at that time, like, I thought, yeah, this has to be the highest score in the world. There's nobody that's playing this game as much as me. There just couldn't be. Unfortunately, I was wrong, because there were Japanese scores in Gamist or Neo Geo Freak, where somebody had gotten 31.3 million. And I was just, I was shocked. No pun intended. Like, how could there be more points possible? What was I missing? And I still kept playing the game, but I couldn't figure out what to do for score. Eventually, like, I thought, like, oh, maybe because if you play on a European BIOS, blood's turned off, and then I figured out that, you know, you shoot an enemy multiple times, you get multiple shots, and then I kind of beat 31.3 million with blood off. and but that didn't really count because the true default setting is blood on, and blood makes a huge difference in this game. That speedrun bot is not right. I actually have a faster time than that. What the hell? I should mention that at some point. But eventually I did figure out the what I was missing, but it wasn't until like it wasn't until 2007 when a barcade here in Portland, Oregon got a 4-slot Neo Geo that just happened to have shock troopers in it, which kind of renewed my zest to play this game again. And like when I played it at ground control, like for some reason, like what I never noticed was that that whole thing when you shoot enemies in the water, you can actually shoot them multiple times before they drop. Somehow I never noticed that in all the previous years of playing. And when I realized that, I was like, oh my god, that might be where the extra points come from. And then, like, immediately afterwards, I also realized that you could actually sacrifice a character to put extra time on the clock, which normally I do on a score run, but I didn't do it this time. Usually, I'll kill off Milky on the sewer level just to put some extra time on the clock. I didn't do it this time. I want Milky to survive this time. Oh yeah, I kind of ran past all that good ass graffiti, didn't I? So long story short, it took me like almost 10 years, more like 8 or 9 years to figure out what I was missing. But since that time, I have beaten the old 31.3 million, and now the highest score in the world. I did almost exactly a year ago. I did it around Christmas last year. I got 32,710,000 something. The highest score I've done on cabinet, on an actual cabinet, is 32,600,000. So I've broken 32 million on both cabinet and main. And then at some point a couple of years ago, yeah, I started messing around with speedruns too, just as an excuse to play this game more. And I kind of worked out speedruns for all 3 routes. I put those runs on YouTube, but I did them all on version B version 2 because that's the version I prefer to. Do I really got to do version 1 now? I kind of didn't bother because I don't like version 1, but I can do that. Exactly, Gibby. This is my game. When people think BBH, I want them to think Shock Troopers. Instead, everybody thinks Chicken Farm. Shit. Alright, well, I could leech this boss out, but I'm just gonna kill him. You can actually keep getting soldiers to come out every couple seconds, every couple game seconds. But this is not going to be a full score run, so. Ooh, don't want to stab them off the screen. If you kill an enemy with a close range attack when they're not fully on screen, sometimes they won't drop the item. And I want that first aid kit. Does melee damage change depending on characters? Kind of. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Mama and Southern Cross have the most powerful melee attacks, but for speed, Mama's punch like actually recovers faster. So she actually has the highest DPS if you're trying to kill stuff with close range attacks. Why did those guys run away early? Oh well. Oops. Okay, that's kind of not good. This is kind of limited in terms of life pickups. Also, that one enemy in the middle never drops a an item for some reason, so... Goddamn red gem! That red gem just nuked like 6 enemies. Oh well. What are you gonna do? Anyway, yeah, this is the final stage. There's no leeching to be done on this stage. Watch it with your style. Oh, that guy scroll off screen. He really wants to get out of there. Oops. Not today, red gem. Ah. Is there anything else I forgot to mention about this game? We're nearing the end. There's always so many things to talk about this game, and I always forget something. Yeah, usually I don't have Milky... Oh, the ports! Thank you! Thank you. So yeah, this game is available on a few home systems now. There are the Arcade Classics Archives ports that are on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. They're handled by Hamster. They're actually really good ports. They're excellent ports. They have online leaderboards. They don't have online multiplayer, though. There were... PS3 and Vita ports that were done by M2, part of the Neo Geo station. But those ports actually got delisted, and you can't buy them anymore for some reason. I guess because of the Arcade Classics Archives things. And then there's the .mu port on Steam. Do not, and I repeat, do not buy the Steam version of Shock Troopers. It is beyond terrible. In the first 2 seconds of playing that game, I immediately noticed how fucked up the music is. Like, the sound is completely fucked. And it drops frames, it drops inputs. It's a goddamn mess. Do not give .mu your money. They are fucking terrible. If you need to buy this game, buy it on Switch, PS4, Xbox One. And yeah, there was a... Have you ever cleared the Steam version? I put myself through pain just to get the first place on all the leaderboards on the Steam version of Shock Troopers. Never again. Never again. And yeah, there was a sequel to this game, Shock Troopers Second Squad, that I'm not running in this marathon. Shock Troopers Second Squad is a weird game. It's definitely not as good as the first, but I think people hate on it a lot. People hate on it too much when it's still a playable game. It just has some really unfortunate design decisions. But it is very different from the first game, so I enjoy it for what it is. But if I had a choice, I'd always pick Shock Troopers 1. Anyway, this is the last boss. I'm gonna go... He doesn't drop a first aid kit, but you do get double points. He's worth 800,000 on his own, so 1.6 million if I can give him a stab. Actually, I should let Milky get the kill. No, get him, Milky. No, get back here. No! Ugh! Almost... Okay. Mary, you get the kill. There we go. Oh yeah, time. Oh yeah, the bonuses. Yeah, it's always just speed, but if you're playing version 1, like they'll show the bonuses between levels, and you actually get a small life bonus. If they have like a 2-star rating, you'll get a +8 life bonus. If they have 3 stars, you'll get a +16 life bonus. Which is kind of important because you only have 1 life bar. And of course, one of my biggest pet peeves with this game, though, you can't skip this ending. This really, really slow ending. So if you're waiting to put in your initials, you have to sit through all this. Most of the ports are version 2. All the Arcade Classics Archives version on Switch, PS4, Xbox One are all version 2. The .emu port, wait, is it version 1? I think it's version 1. I don't remember. I want to put that shitty-ass port out of my head. But the PSN Vita versions were version 2. I think the version that was on SNK Arcade Classics was version 1. Like I said, there's a lot of confusion with the different versions of this game. Why there's 2 different versions of it? Nobody really seems to know. They've never actually clarified. You can skip the credits, but I'll let the credits play out because there is one fun thing in the credits that I gotta mention. So don't cut me off yet. How do you tell if it's version A or B? When you see the character select screen, go to team mode. If it says rest equals 3, you're on version B, version 2. If it doesn't say rest equals 3, then you're on version 1. And then if on the route selection screen, if you see the character portraits and a medal rating, it's version 1. That's the easiest way to tell. Anyway, it lists the voices for everybody. And the voice for Meijin Takahashi, or the voice for the commander is Meijin Takahashi. Mr. 16-Shot himself. Who was the figurehead for Hudson for a short time in the 80s. Pooh. Why they gotta show Jackal so much when he's the worst character in the game? And then Meijin Takahashi still laughs at you even though I 1CC'd it. Not cool. Not cool. And that's Shock Troopers. I love this game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I wish I could interview the people that made this game. All the questions I could ask. Somebody get me in touch with them. Anyway, that's going to conclude the Neo Geo block. I am still going to be here for a couple more games. We're going to start a kind of a jank beat-em-up block. Beat-em-ups that didn't really get much attention in the arcades, but are cool games in their own right. So I will be right back with B-Rap Boys Special.